I carried him had to carry him to trial. And of course they give me a Jeep, carry him up to headquarters, try. Said, well, you can carry him back. I says, of course they give me the paper, all the paperwork that goes with such as that. And he got 20 years in prison and dishonorable discharge is what they give him for the trial. And he told me, he looked at me and he says, and he'd been in the American Stockade for I don't know how long. And of course I seen him every day just about it. And he told me, he looked at me and we started to get in the Jeep to go back to the stockade. He says, I'm not going to serve no 20 years in prison and then get a dishonorable discharge. And I was trying to think of his name, but I forgot his name. But the way he looked at me and called me by name, he says, I'm not going to serve no 20 years in prison and then a dishonorable discharge. And I was carrying on a big 45 then. I usually carried it on the left hand or on the right side. And I remember I just taken that old gun belt and swung that gun around to the left, because I had to drive anyway. I swung that gun around to the left and I says, now, I'm not going to serve the first day of time for you if you escape from me. And I says, the thing for you to do is get over there and sit down in that seat and stay on that side of the Jeep. I said, because I certainly don't want to shoot you. Old boy cried. He cried there for 20 miles, you might say. I had to go ahead 20 miles headquarters. And I said, well, I hate it, but you're the one that done it. So you do the crime, you pay the time.
Yeah.
And so I carried him back to the stockade and put him in the stockade. They shipped him out about a week or 10 days later. I don't know where they shipped him to.
All that for robbing a poker game.
All
that for robbing a poker game.
Yeah, all that for robbing a poker game.
Now, Joe, where were you when you were directing traffic and General MacArthur came by?
I was in I believe it was Finch Haven, the name of the island, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. It had to be Finch Haven or Bag, one of the two. I was on several different islands. But the majority of my time was stationed in Finch Haven and Bag.
You were directing traffic in the mud when MacArthur...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Me and one other guy, I believe we had 5 prisoners. Yeah. We was moving up on the island. I'm saying I'm on these islands. I could be on the same island and still move from place to place a lot of times. But we was moving up 20 miles. And most of our moving done at 20 miles. I don't know why the 20 miles particularly. And I don't forgot what he got. I think he got a rifle. It was Japanese stuff. And I sent mine home, come back home, never got back out of the Army. I cleaned it up, fixed it up, and I sold it to an old boy for $75.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what kind of ammo did they use? What size ammunition?
Different sizes.
That one you had?
Yeah. This I know that was a problem that I had with the gun that I got. I couldn't get American ammunition for it.
Right.
That was the problem that I had.
Yeah.
And this old boy I worked with, whenever I come back out of the Army and decided I'd get rid of it, he said, I'll get me some ammunition. You just sell me the rifle. I sold it to him.
Well,
And you know how I decided that rifle was in working condition. Me and this Mexican guy both. Now this is while we was in the service. We cleaned them up. We could get a little bit of ammunition over there if we're lucky. If we're lucky. And we got a little ammunition. Carried them down in the Jungle camp area. And I was scared to try to fire mine, ready to blow the bridge off of it back into my face. And he was his too. But anyway, we tied them to a tree. Tied them guns to a tree. Aimed at what we wanted to shoot at. Got it tied to the tree. Got back there and tied a string to the trigger. Pulled the trigger to see if it shoot or blow the gun, and blow the bridge off. That's how we found out that it worked.
that was smart.
I shot it several times after that. Couldn't get no more ammunition, so what good was it? Laying in the way.
Hey, you carried a 45.
I carried a different type gun.
Did you?
Most of the time I carried a 45. I even carried a submachine gun for a while. It depends on the duty you're assigned to. What type gun you carried, or what type they issued you.
Joe, tell us that story about MacArthur one more time. Tell us that story about General MacArthur one more time.
Oh, I was put in guard duty in the intersection, and MacArthur had to go to battalion headquarters for some reason. Now, I don't know about that, but anyway, I was out there standing in mud and water up to my knees, or I say up to my knees. That's exaggerating a bit. You know how mud and water is. And he come riding by in that limousine, him sitting back there in the back seat, all rearing back. Me standing out there getting my butt wet, having to salute him. He didn't even return my salute. I thought, well, you son of a gun. I'd like to. He didn't visit our outfits too often. That's the only time I can ever really and truly say that he come to our battalion headquarters. That's the only time that I can really say for sure.
Was he wearing his sunglasses and his smoking it? Was he wearing his sunglasses?
Oh yeah,
and smoking his pipe.
He had his sunglasses on and all right back up.
Where were you when you found out the war was over?
I was sitting on a row of barrel sacks of rice. Room to drive a Jeep between rice. It was getting captured, and like we hear the office up yonder, they'd throw it off on both sides, you know. And I was sitting on a sack of rice in one of them roads where they'd throw rice, sack rice, and never come through. This old boy come through in the Jeep, blowing the horn and hollering, shooting their guns, hollering, the war's over, the war's over. Everybody on that island, I reckon, emptied all the ammunition they had. You had to pay for your ammunition. unless it was a need for it. And we didn't find all that many needs to fire our guns.
Yeah. Did you have any Japanese prisoners at that time?
Oh, yeah.
How did they react?
Yeah, but they wasn't, most of them, you didn't carry jobs out on work details too often. Very often. Very few times that I can't ever remember carrying but one Japs out on a work detail but one time. I remember this one time that I carried these Jap prisoners out to work, and we had that old black boy in the stockade, and my detail was carry them up there and dig graves to bury the Japs in. Well, me and this other guy, you usually had two in a group, and you had anywhere from one prisoner to 7 or 8 prisoners. They never did overload you with prisoners. I had an old boy. Well, I didn't have him. He's done it with all the guards that ever guarded him. Every morning, if you got assigned to him on a work detail, he was sick. He's sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm not able to go out on work detail. I carried him got him assigned on work detail I don't know how many times. But anyway, this particular time, I carried him to the dispensary to the doctor, and I'd carried him 2 or 3 times, you know, in the last few months, or days rather. This doctor told me, he said, there ain't nothing wrong with that guy, but I said, well, we have to bring him, do what we're told to do. And he said, I know. So he says, I'll help you with that. This old Indian guy, he's an Indian guy is what he was. And he says, he popped a shot in that old guy's arm, and that brave knot swelled up on his arm, looked like a turkey egg on his arm. Clear water. He shot him with clear water. And that's the only time, or the last time. That's the last time I ever carried that guy on work detail. He was faking it. He'd rather lay on the bunk and watch us have to walk guard duty than to go in and go out and work on a hot day.
He was allergic
to
work.
All Army personnel was allergic to work. And there wasn't nothing for them to do except pick up trash, and haul off garbage, and dig ditches, maybe cut a limb and off a tree or something. That was just the extent of their work. We got one guy coming in the stockade for something or other. His name was, he was a captain. And I don't know what he done as far as knowing what he done is concerned to get put in the stockade. But anyway, he escaped out of the stockade. And went to the airport, mind you, and stole the airplane and flew that airplane over that island. And how he done it, I don't know. And he crashed. He was going out, and I reckon ever what he done, I don't know. But anyway, he crashed and killed himself before he got to Australia. Captain Beck, he was a little red-headed feller.